is. Oh. Just put that anywhere.
Good job.
Anywhere you like. Just wherever, whatever suits you. Maybe we should start every podcast that way.
Yeah, what was Mel Brooks? That was like a Mel Brooks movie.
Right. Just the sound of something falling apart in the background. We haven't really had a chance to talk much anyway, just a little bit downstairs, since you've been here.
I know.
Something I was going to ask, do you still have your place in New York?
I do.
Okay.
I live in New York.
Okay, so you're still there a lot.
Yeah, in fact, I just got back to town, 4 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm here. Now I'm going to be here probably when I come in for the winter because my mom, knock on wood, is much healthier.
Right.
Everything's better.
Right.
I book a couple, like a little Florida tour.
Yeah.
But I'll be here for like 2.5 months.
Oh, okay.
So now every winter I'll be coming down for 2 months.
Oh, perfect.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I don't need to be in New York for
No.
January and February.
No,
Thank you.
Of course not. Of course not. It's a perfect deal. Yeah, because I knew you were coming down and seeing your mom more and spending time with her more. And I was sitting there going, I don't even know if she's still got her place up in New York still.
I do.
But,
it's been the same place for like 30 years.
Yeah, you live down in the village, right?
Down in the village near the Comedy Cellar.
Right. And 30 years. Is that one of those rent control
It's
kind of
rent
deals?
stabilized.
Rent stabilized.
Right, and I pay $2,600 for a small 2-bedroom.
Okay, which ain't
For
cheap.
New Yorkers, though, that's a really good
Yeah,
deal.
yeah.
People from Kentucky go, what?
Exactly.
$2,600. My whole family, everybody's house put together don't cost that.
Absolutely. I was teaching I teach the comedy class that we teach at the club at New College now once a year. Yesterday when we were just talking about what you could do, what you can't do, and one of them in their bit they were brought up a Hitler reference, right? And it wasn't weird in the way she did it, but like that. And so we were talking about when you say the word Hitler on stage in a comedy show, there are great expectations that go with that. I mean, like, either because the audience immediately is going to go, this is either going to be made hilariously, very cleverly funny, or it's going to get awkward and uncomfortable here in just a second.
I think it always depends on the club. Like, if you're at your club, people trust this person knows how to drive this car. Like, this is going to be funny.
Right.
At the Comedy Cellar, people get excited when they hear you talking about a taboo topic because they know we all know how to handle it. It's going to be funny, or we wouldn't talk about it.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah, they trust everybody sitting on stage is a solid pro.
There's always unstable people that are like, you cannot mention Hitler. You can't say the word rape. You can't say it.
Right.
But I do a rape joke, and I did it, and a friend who's very, very liberal, lesbian, very came to see me the other night, and she goes, if you had just told me that joke, the content of that joke, I wouldn't have wanted to see it. And she goes, and I want to apologize because it's hilarious. And I said, well, here's the thing, you have to trust that I wouldn't make fun of something. I'm not making fun of rape. That joke's about surviving rape.
Mm-hmm.
It's about turning the tables on a rapist.
Right.
And telling him, I know who you are. I'm prepared for you. I know you exist, so I'm prepared for you. Which, when people see it, and now I've had the most liberal people, women that don't find anything like that funny, say to me, do the rape joke.
Right. Well, and probably one of the first, I think the first time I saw you at the Comedy Cellar, and I already knew you, I hadn't heard you do the rape joke, and you did it that night, and I went, That's one of the ballsiest damn things I've ever heard anybody ever do. I think, don't you say, "Hey, by the way, I leave my window cracked open"?
Yeah.
Yes, you tell them.
You didn't even notice the window was open.
I leave the window cracked open. Like you're inviting the rapist in,
Well, basically,
just so you can work out on them.
I go, "I'll rape you. I'll rape the rapist," right?
Exactly.
And then I'd say, "I'll mouth kiss you." And
yes, whisper in his ear,
I'll
hold
hold you. I'll tell you I love you, and I'm gonna keep you. And in the end, I tell him you're my boyfriend.
Right.
And people just get so excited about the joke. And Joan, I was friends with Joan Rivers, good friends, and she came. The first time I did the joke, really, in front of like on camera, was in Canada, and I see her blonde head with her big orange pocketbook and her assistant behind her, and she's walking a million miles an hour across the stage to me, and she says, "Who wrote it?" And, I just did 20 minutes. But she goes, "Who wrote the rape joke?" And I said, "I wrote it." And she said, "You wrote the whole joke? No one helped?" And I said, "No, ma'am, I wrote it." And she said, "What makes Lindsay," she called me Lindsay. She said, "Lindsay, what makes that joke great?" And I said, "Well, it's a taboo topic." She goes, "No, that makes it good. What makes it great?" And I said, "I don't know." And she said, "It's requestable. People are going to ask you to do your rape joke." And I said, "Oh, thanks, Joan." And so, but then she said, when are you getting it on TV? And I said, "Well, they just taped it." And she goes, "Not in Canada." And I was taping it the following week on Comedy Central with Dave Attell. And I go, "It'll be on Comedy Central next week." And she goes, "Oh, good." But it was not in Canada.
I will tell you that when I talk about you to people, that's one of the first bits that always comes to my mind. Like you said, it's requestable, but because it's just it's just a bit that I don't know that I've ever heard another comic go there, male or female, go there. I mean, I'm trying to think if I've even heard of a male comic dealing with rape and really making it acceptable and funny on stage, comfortable. I mean, and obviously a lot of it is the way you deliver it. I mean, it is. I mean, it's I when I teach, I go, like, take your rape joke. You just said it. If you read that, if I just handed you it on paper and said, "What do you think of that?" It's not going to read particularly funny, and it might read like your girlfriend said, "I wouldn't want to see that." But I tell them, I go, it's how you do it. It's how there's that thing, I don't know, that's almost unteachable, to where you have just a little way, those little nuances, which is a little cock of your head, a little twinkle in the eye that just goes, "This is okay, everybody."
It's funny you said that, because I always said that Don Rickles and Joan Rivers had a way of having a twinkle in the eye that never offended. They walked a line, and it was because there was a little wink, a little smile that just told you, "I'm playing.
Right.
I don't want to hurt anybody.
Right.
But I'm saying things that other people don't want to say." And for me, somebody asked me, "Where'd that joke come from?" And I go, "I was laying on my bed, looking out the window, and the fire escape was right there. And I thought, and I said a prayer, and I said, God, please just don't ever." I'm terrified of it. I'm terrified of fire, and I'm terrified of someone breaking and entering my home. I'm a single woman. I have been my whole life. So it was really scared. And I thought, I have a little knife I always keep. I won't tell you where, because people are listening. They're like, "Oh, good. She dared us to rape them, and now we know where her knife is." But
are you good with a knife? Like, could you?
I'm pretty good with a knife.
Okay, all right.
I don't have a gun.
I
know.
And
not because I'm not against guns.
No.
But I'm not good with a gun. I'm a horrible shot. And I've always said to people, I'm not. And my dad took me to the gun range all the time. I grew up in Sarasota. We had guns all the time. But I'm like, if you're not a good shot, you shouldn't have a gun in your house.
No. No, you got to be
I
able.
really mean that. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
stupid.
if you don't hit them, they're just going to take it away
They're
from
going to
you.
take it from you and beat you with it or shoot you with it.
Exactly.
So, and I'm not strong enough to beat anyone with the gun, you know, and I don't think throwing it is a good idea.
No.
So, I always have a little knife, and I know exactly where I would stab the person with it. But anyway, but the whole point is, I said, you know, I prayed and I said, God, what could I do? And then I thought, oh, I could just love him, because my relationships never work out. If I just loved him, I bet I could make him go away and not hurt me. And then when I thought about it, it made me laugh.
Right.
And I wasn't scared. And I thought, well, I bet if it makes me laugh, maybe I could take that fear away from other women.
Right.
By making them laugh at it.
Right.
Like, if your relationships don't work, just love the rapist.
Yeah.
You love him, he won't stay.
Yeah.
You know, men don't stay when you love them.
That's the most uncomfortable thing you could possibly do.
Tell him you
He'd
love
probably
him.
rather be stabbed. Most likely. I mean, really, when
That's
it all
funny.
comes down to it.
Well, there was something else I was going to tell you about Joan, and it just went right out of my head.
Joan Rivers.
Yeah, we were talking about the rape joke, and I'll remember. But
You know, thinking about Joan and that whole the comedians that we've lost that we grew up with that were, you know, just amazing. And have you been to the National Comedy Center?
No, I heard it was amazing.
It is amazing, and too many people don't know about it. You know, we've been up there a few times and talked to the lady who's you know, in charge of the thing, and I was like, you know, I don't know, maybe get something with the comedy, because I talk to comics that don't know it exists. You know, it's in Jamestown, New York, and it is, and that's where, you know, people like Joan Rivers are going to be, you know, immortalized. You know, because hey, let me tell you what, when I get in front of college kids, you say Joan Rivers, nothing. They got, I mean,
can I ask you a question?
so often they I mean, even Richard Pryor sometimes
I
they don't
know
know.
it. And Bill Hicks, they don't even know who he is.
No.
Let me ask you a question. Do you, when you talk to your students that you're I mean, can you even teach comedy that you're guiding?
Yes.
Because I do think you mentor comedy more than you teach it. Like, you kind of guide.
Well, you know what they don't understand about comedy is the main thing you want is that it's structured.
Exactly.
Because they don't see it as being structured, because good professionals make it look unstructured. So the thing that I go, the eye opener to anybody, I go, you want to really understand stand-up comedy? Come to a Friday night and watch the headline. Go to both shows. Watch the early show.
Watch all their shows.
Watch the show. Then, because I remember for me, that was the thing where we had no school, so we're watching them.
You watch
and you're
how they
going,
pick the mic up.
Yes.
You watch when they take a drink.
And you're going, that's all calculated. It's all
planned.
structured. It's all planned, and it looks like it's just off the cuff.
I think the crowd work cracks me up. The old school us, you know, people will be like, that was so clever and fun, and I'm like, I've been doing that for 20 years. Like, it's not clever or you know, it's something I have in my bag. Like, we have a big bag. You know, I'll talk to young comics and they'll say, I can't wait to be, you know, especially when I'm on the road. Like, I want to be able to move in and out the way you did and do this. And I'm like, hey, listen, I've got at least 4 hours of material, solid material, which means when something's not working, I throw it, I can go to the next thing. When you have a lot of burners on, it's easier to make a good dinner.
Yeah.
Because I burn one thing, it's not a big deal.
Right.
But when you're a young baby comic, you got a pot roast,
Yeah.
and a vegetable,
Yeah.
and one of them is burned. The dinner's fucked.
Exactly.
So now you're really trying. And I said, so the most important thing is don't burn that pot roast. Just make sure that the jokes that are getting laughs, you protect them like little eggs, like a mama bird with little eggs, because you need those to get the laughs. And then the other thing I always tell people is, I'm like, confidence, whether it's real or you're putting it on.
Mm-hmm.
They smell it. You feel it in your body when you're not confident. And like my trick, and it doesn't work for everyone, and Bobby and a lot of guys would make fun of me, but I always say this when I'm headlining, this is my dinner party. It's my party. It's my show. I'm taking care of this. The people who opened, the club is helping me host my dinner party. This is my dinner party where no one gets to talk but me.
Yes. That's
unless
right.
I want you to.
That's right.
And when I do that, it gives me a sense of confidence. And I'm sure you have something you tell young comics.
Absolutely. Well, and it is command the room. And it's important that you command the room from the very beginning because the audience wants you to command the room.
They do.
The audience will get uncomfortable quickly if you're not in command of the room, or at least elements of the audience.
Well, have you ever been driving, someone driving a car and they're going, where are we going? Where are we going? And you're like, could you pull over? What the fuck are you doing? Like, I thought you knew. I'm paying you to drive me there. So I always say the last thing you want the audience to do is start putting their seatbelt on and getting scared.
Yes.
So the way to command the room is to be confident.
Yes.
And let them know, don't you worry. I know where we're going.
That's right.
And I'm going to get you there.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm brave. And whatever I have to do to make sure we all get there in one piece, we'll do. I think a lot of younger comics come out and their perceptions are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like they perceive the audience as like I need to make them like me. No, you don't. You need to be funny.
Yes.
Because no one came to like you. People came to laugh.
That's right.
Everyone cares a lot about all the bad things happening in your life if they're funny.
Yes.
But if they're not funny, no one gives a shit.
That's right. That's right. The way I say that to them is I go, I ask them, I go, what do you think the most important thing is?
I was going to ask you. That's why I asked.
What is the most important thing in a stand-up comedy performance? And I go, the audience. Mm-hmm. The audience is the most important thing.
And a working microphone.
Yes. Well, no, we can scream.
Okay.
We've done it.
All you need is a mic and a light. That's really all you need.
But I go, because if you're always considering everything I'm doing up here is for them to have an enjoyable time, not for me. Not for me to get. I go, if they're having a good time, you'll get all the yummies you want to get. Right. You'll get it, But like you say, I said, nobody comes, and I think this is kind of a thing now where there's a gray area in stand-up comedy. I think, personally, that stand-up comedy, when you're doing stand-up comedy, your pure goal is to get as many laughs as you possibly can. That's my goal, is to make them laugh as much as possible, any way I can. They didn't come here. Nobody paid a cover charge to come to a stand-up comedy show, a comedy club, to learn anything or to be enlightened about anything or to have their point of view shifted.
But don't you agree? But the only problem with that, in my mind, is I know what you're saying, but I know what you mean too, which means it also means there's different styles of comedy. So some comedy, if you're telling one-line jokes, everyone has to get a laugh.
Right.
I hate doing that. It's way too much work. It is a lot of work. And if you're going to do one-liners, if you're going to do observational comedy, every observation has to be funny.
Right.
Now, if you're going to storytell, which I do a lot of,
right.
You do a lot of.
Yes.
It's fine. But you have to be funny enough on the drive that they stay with you.
Right.
And you better be ready. That payoff better be funny, because there's nothing like a bunch of pissed people when you get to the end of that story and it goes nowhere.
Right.
We're in a ditch. I followed the Navy and it told me to make a left and now we're in a lake. Like nobody.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like
no,
it better have a payoff.
Exactly.
It better have. And I mean, it's too bad that he's a rapist and a predator, but Cosby was one of the best ones. At doing a storytelling.
Nobody better.
Nobody better.
I mean, I when the few times I got to see him live, I mean, it was just obvious. I mean, I felt like, I guess if you went over the past 150 years of English-speaking entertainers, storytelling, Mark Twain and Bill Cosby. I mean,
It's true.
true. It's true.
Because
he was
also painted
unbelievable.
pictures, and you know, I try and do that too. But lots of times I'll say to myself, like, okay, do you have the energy for it tonight? If you
Right.
don't, just go to the jokes. Don't tell the story. Don't,
Right.
because it can get long-winded. And if I start meandering,
Mhm.
oh, I know what I was going to tell you. I did a show once years ago, and there was a young comic hosting, and he was nervous. I was on TV, so I had filled the house. It was packed. We were in Connecticut. He was drunk,
Mm.
and he had a drink, and I'd had a drink. I'll sip one and then add Coke to it.
Right.
So it's lots of times I take a fake drink if I'm on the road, because people listening, that's how you, if I'm new at a club, that's how you sell drinks. If the comic's drinking, the audience wants to drink, and you toast the audience, and the club knows you're drinking ginger ale, but they're happy to be selling more drinks. And if you're not a huge draw yet, you want to make sure the club, I mean, back in the day, they used to say, Lynn, it's so weird. You didn't sell as many tickets, but our sales were great. Because you sold a lot of alcohol, and you kept going through the check spots, and people were just giving the waiters huge. So those are, like you said, they're little tricks you learn to do
Exactly.
to do well. Well, anyway, this kid had a drink. It just serves what you just said about knowing where you're. And he came up to me, and I said, when he went to bring me on, this is first show Thursday night. As a club owner and a comic, you'll know how horrible this is. And he goes to bring me on, and he goes, oh, shit, what's your name?
Oh.
And I thought, oh, no. And I was a new headliner, so my heart broke for him immediately. So when I came off between shows, I see the club. It was a Funny Bones, you know, so they come, or an improv. No, it was an improv in Connecticut. They came, the manager came flying out. The minute I went up and saw him going off, I could see him. They were grabbing him. And between shows, he said to me, you know, I'm sorry. People make mistakes. I said, yeah, of course. Second show is okay, but he's drinking, and not being funny, and being rambly. And I'm thinking, oh, God, kid. So now it's the next night. Now it's, I guess I came in Wednesday. That was Thursday. He comes in. He's drinking. They cut him off. He has a drink before the first show. He's not very funny. He remembers my name, but he pulls it out of his pocket and makes a big deal out of it. Like, oh, don't worry. I fucked this up last night. It was a big deal. And now tonight. And I'm going, oh. And I'm being very nice because I was new at headlining.
Sure.
Now I would have grabbed him by the neck and said, what is wrong with you?
Exactly.
You've got a full house. I'm a headliner. I could take you on the road with me. Like, are you nuts?
Yeah.
So anyway, he came over to me and he goes, can you believe they just cut me off? And I said, yeah. You should stop drinking. You can't handle it. I don't know if you're nervous or what it is, but you got to stop drinking. He goes, you're drinking. And I go, I'm headlining. I could be shooting up heroin back here. No one gives a tiny rat's ass as long as I'm funny. And I can do an hour. I go, do you not understand this is a business? I go, you know, you make friends in this business. And the clubs help you and they take care of you and you take care of them. And I said, but it's a business.
Yeah. That's how you move along.
I go, are you out of your mind?
Mm-hmm.
And I go, no one cares about you. They're not cutting you off because they care about you and don't want you to wrap your car around a tree. They're cutting you off because you're not funny.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get it, and they fired him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as they should have. You know, when...
And he goes, who are they going to get to replace me?
And
I said
the
to him,
parking lot attendant.
I go, you're the host. I go, the manager could call her mother. Are you fucking nuts? A 7-year-old could come in here. A well-trained chimp could do better than you.
A false sense of self-worth, which is, you know.
Do you teach that? Do you tell them, like, don't get too cocky?
Well, what I tell them is that the most important thing, I said, when you guys go to a party and you're funny and you're just in the kitchen and you're funny and you're one of the funny, you're among your friends, you're one of the funnier people. I said, but you can't, when you can't take what you did in the kitchen at the party, up on stage at the comedy club. It won't work. Unless
you're always funny, and it's the same story.
And you structure it. And I said, unless you structure it. And I said, the structure is this. If I get comics, a comic will come up to me, a new comic, and they'll go, hey, I got an idea. You get it too. Hey, I got an idea, Lynn. Check this out. Blah, 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 blah. What do you think? And now what I do is I go, where do you expect them to laugh in what you just told me? And that should come down to a word in a moment. There. I expect them to laugh here. I said, you couldn't tell me that because you haven't established those moments yet. You haven't established that yet. Any great comic, when they do a bit, they know where the laughs are coming. Now, they might get extra laughs here or there in there, but they know right there. That's what makes it repeatable,
That's right.
And so I said, you have to be able to identify your laugh moments, the moments where because that's how you build a set that you can do over and over and over again will work if you're trying to be a professional. I said, when you're getting ready to go to a party, okay, you don't sit there and go, I'm going to tell that damn story about that, and then I'm going to tell that story about that. I think I'll sit down here and go over that and make some notes, and strategically decide, oh, yeah, this is where I no, you don't do that. You don't do that. But on a comedy stage, it's a show. It's a business. It's a performance, okay? It ain't just you yippee-yapping with your friends. Because when you're with your friends, you're close. You have a lot of shared experience. It's not a performance.
And you're the funniest one of not funny people.
Correct. And it's not a performance.
But that's what I always say. I go, but when you're with your friends, they're not funny people.
Yeah.
And these not funny people elected you the funniest among them.
You're the outgoing one.
And there's no doubt in my mind that you are.
Yeah.
The funniest person with not funny people. So my on-again, off-again boyfriend said to me recently, he goes, I texted him, I'm in a funk. I don't want to talk today. So he calls. And I said, now, whatever happens to you in the next half hour, you deserve. Because I told you not to call me. So, and for people listening, you know that a lot of comics we have emotional problems. We all suffer from depression and so forth. So, there's nothing wrong with being in a funk and addressing it. I perform every night. Sometimes it just all gets to me, and I just need
to be quiet.
Sit and be quiet.
Yes.
And not hear my own stupid voice.
Yes.
And not make something out of something that might not be anything. So he says to me, and he's from New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and he goes, I thought maybe I could cheer you up. Well, of course, I ended up screaming at him. And I said, what part of I'm in a funk, I'd rather not talk, I don't think I'm going to be good company, makes you say, and we've been dating 3.5 years, I should call her? And he goes, with all my friends, I'm the one everyone turns to make them happy. And I go, not for nothing, Steve. I got Louis C.K. and Chris Rock on my speed dial. I know the funniest people in the world. I can go to Florida. If I can call the funniest guy in Florida. I can call the funniest guy in fucking England. I know the funniest people in the world. Never once did it even cross my mind in 3.5 years to call you for a laugh. Money, sex, advice on some certain things, how to fix the toilet, all of these things that you were on my first to call list. But a laugh?
Is that in your show yet?
No.
It needs to be. That's hilarious.
Chris Rock on my speed dial. People who host the Oscars are in my phone.
Well, that's Pam and I early in our relationship. I think it was her at one point that said, there's going to be days when I really don't want to talk much. And it ain't you. You know what I mean? Like, don't take it. But when I have that day, don't
She gets it.
try. Don't do
pull me
what
out.
don't do
I
what Steve
need
did.
to
Don't
be-
try. And because there is that tendency to go, oh, she feels, to try to be this knight in shining armor,
used to do it
it's
all
so
the time.
stupid. And
I like
it's so
stupid.
it is so stupid. And the thing that I found was on those days when you just succumb to it, those are really good days. Like you're together.
I call
but
them my God days.
You don't talk
Like, I
at
just-
all. Isn't that
Oh,
beautiful?
you mean when you're with another person?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And you don't even you just don't really. Just let them be. They let you be, and you go, "Oh, that was fucking
Because
great."
you do usually like the company. Like I
Yeah.
and I remember saying to him, "I love that you text me. I love the sweet text. Send me funny texts. But when I say I'm in a funk, I don't want to talk. Part of it is I don't want to hear my own voice. I just don't want to." And he goes, "But I'll talk more and you talk less." I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you're boring me,
Right.
and I'm a comedian.
Right.
So, it's really hard for us when we do it. We're doing it every night. It's like you and I just talked about in the green room when you were saying sometimes Jason will tell you, "Les, you're talking a lot."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
I
but
talk
that's
too much in the podcast.
what we do. But
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Right.
Because if we don't keep talking, somebody heckles or fills that space.
Right. And we're also pretty sure that whoever we're talking to doesn't have as interesting as shit to say as we do.
Well, we do like our own voices.
But I will say
But
that.
if you have a friend who's a doctor and you're walking funny, they're going to say to you, "Are you okay?
Yeah.
You're favoring your left." I don't care. You can't say, "Can you not be a doctor for 2 hours?"
Yeah.
It's what they do. They can't help but notice that you might not be well. Talking nonstop is what we do.
And to the fact that, and it just makes such sense when you talk for a living, when you talk, that's your thing. You're passionate about talking. Like, I'll go play golf by myself. And somebody goes, "You mean you play 18 holes by yourself?" I go, "I love it. I absolutely
I like doing things alone, too.
love it. Love it. 4 hours, nobody. I don't utter a word, and I couldn't be happier. Same way to when I'm walking down a stream in North Carolina with a
and
fly
I love that,
rod,
too.
and just I don't want anybody else with me.
I love fishing for the same reason. You just sit there and talk to the fish. There's no issues.
It's quiet, just quiet.
That's
It's
really,
lovely.
That's really funny. And you wouldn't think that we were people who do like to get quiet, but we do.
Oh,
We have to. Kevin Brennan said the funniest thing to me once. I said to him, we were opening for Louis C.K., and I said, "How'd you do?" And he goes, "I think I did really well." And if you don't know Kevin, he's a surly kind of guy. And he goes, "But mean Kevin said I sucked." And what was funny was I knew exactly what he meant. And I said, "What did mean Kevin tell you?" And he goes, "Oh, he just said, look at the lady in the front. She looks special needs." She's not laughing with you. She's just she laughs at everything.
right.
And he said, and then you realize you're talking to the audience while you're running this mean commentary to yourself. And, I think that's the thing. What we do is such a gift that when you realize sometimes, who the hell? Like, I look at myself, I'm like, your life is such a hot mess. And you're going out here and talking to these people like you're just the funniest, happiest lady in the world. And then I remember, because that's why they came to see you. They don't care what your life is. They don't care if everything you're saying is a lie.
Right.
They just want to laugh.
That's right. That's right.
You're just performing. And that's a medicine you're giving them. It's a gift. And when you realize you have that gift, because, you're not this, but I'm a bit of a journeyman as a comic. We're talking about golf. And that's okay. You hit a point where you realize, like, I might not ever be big and famous.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of cool to be, when I learned that word, I was like, I kind of love it because it means that comics know me. I'm a comic that big comics like having open for them. If you can't be Muhammad Ali, it's great to be the guy Muhammad Ali wants to spar with.
Exactly right. Well, what you are is a great professional that just didn't, because there's a lot in every performance art there are a lot of outstanding professionals that never become household names.
That's right.
A lot, like a shitload. And there's actually some artists that become household names that really aren't near as good as the ones that didn't. You know, becoming famous, I don't think, I would say I always say there's no flukes. People that become famous work hard. They work hard. They're diligent.
I've heard so many people be mean about him. And I heard 3 comics say to me one day, they were bitching about him.
Yeah.
And I said, I watched him last night. And they said, what do you think? And I go, I think he's got a great personality. I think he's funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, some of his jokes were, this was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I go, a little hackneyed. But I go, he's adorable. And he's selling it. Yeah. And he believes in himself. And he's charming. And I said, and I think you sound like a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
And they said, what? And I go, you don't think the guy's got enough jokes? Then go write for him.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Go build your careers. You're sitting around bitching. And what the guy's got that you don't have is ambition.
Well, and years ago, I remember watching Kenny Rogers being interviewed by Johnny Carson. They were talking about this very thing. And Kenny Rogers was going, you know, I can't tell you how many singers that I've worked with that I can tell you right now, musicians sing. They're better musicians than me. They're better singers than me. Better songwriters than me. They are. And he goes, we have done everything we can to put them in positions to become famous. And they don't. And he goes, I don't know. I can't answer why that is. They have everything too. And I can't say, why was it me? I don't know that I can wholly answer that question, that there is just something about certain people that is attractive to a big group of people that they fall in love with them. And, you know, I don't think that's learnable. You know, it just is something that it happens or it doesn't happen. But like we've always said, to be able to have gone through our entire life and spend our entire life doing nothing but creating joy. That's all we've done is create joy our whole life and made a living out of it. It's I don't know any more blessed way to have gone through this track meet on earth than this.
I was at the cellar one night going on, and you know, we all check each other. We all, you know, it's like musicians or anything. We all watch each other. And Norton came in, Jim Norton, and he goes, "You okay, kid?" It was Tuesday night or whatever, and I said, "I hate my voice. I hate my act, and I'm trying desperately not to hate the audience." And he goes, "So Tuesday."
Perfect way for us to end. Thanks, Lynn. You were beautiful. You were perfect.
But isn't that so true?
Absolutely.
I hate my voice. I hate my act, and I'm trying not to hate the audience. So Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Which is true because